of the first Mass. The first documented Catholic Mass in the Philippines was held on March 31, 1521, Easter Sunday. It was conducted by Father Pedro de Valdemara of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition along the shores of what was referred to in the journal of Antonio Pigafetta as Mazua.
Thank you, Mr. Rambos. So, landing on Philippine shores, where Ferdinand Magellan and his European crew sailed from Sanlúcar de Barrameda for an expedition to search for spices. These explorers landed in the Philippines after their voyage from other proximate areas. In March 1521, the expedition of Ferdinand Magellan reached the Philippines, where relations from the indigenous people went from peacefully trading fruit to engaging in pitched battle. Magellan's arrival in the Philippines paved the way for Spanish rule, introduced Christianity to the islands, and still lives on the stories and cultural practices of the Filipino people.
Lag of Francisco Albo. On March 16, 1521, Francisco Albo kept a lag. They sailed west from Landrones, which is now known as Marian Island. They saw land to the northwest. On the same day, they visited a small island in Samar called Suluan.
Diary of Antonio Pigafetta. Francisco Antonio Pigafetta was one of the survivors who returned to Spain. He joined the Portuguese Captain Ferdinand Magellan in his Spanish crew on their trip to Maluku Island. He has the most complete account of Magellan expedition entitled Primo Vlago in Tomo 91 Mundo, whose voyage around the world. On March 28, 1521, there is in an island lies on a latitude of 9 and 2/3 towards the Arctic Pole in a longitude 162 degrees from the line of demarcation. That was the route of Magellan expedition as stated in the account of Pigafetta. This is the 1734 Murillo Velarde's map. This map that indicates the first land of sighting in Surigao, from where the expedition headed north to Dinagat and Limasawa, then south to Butuan, back north to Limasawa, from where they sailed along the west coast of Leyte, then the Camotes Islands and down to Sugbo and Mactan. In 1872, the first mass believed that it has been held in Agusan. The Agusan place that changed names into the Curse of Agusan River or the Markers that located in town of Magallanes across the river from Butuan City.
Blood Compact. In those days, it was customary among the indigenous to seal friendship with a blood compact. This was the first recorded blood compact between Filipinos and Spaniards. Blood Compact. In Spanish, El Pacto de Sangre. In Filipino, Sanduguan. It is to seal friendship, treaty, or validate agreement.
The first Mass. The earliest recorded Mass in the Philippine territory was held in Limasawa on March 31, 1521. It was officiated by Father Pedro de Valderrama, chaplain of Magellan El Caño expedition. That day in the Roman Catholic calendar was Easter Sunday. Thank you.
Planting of the cross. Further information Magellan's cross. In the afternoon of the same day, Magellan instructed his comrades to plant a large wooden cross on the top of the hill overlooking the sea. Then, Magellan and Antonio Pigafetta, who recorded the event, said, Each of us repeated a Pater Noster and a Ave Maria and adored the cross, and the king, Colombo and Siao did the same. The Armada of Magellan landed in the Philippines on March 16, 1558. Then Magellan, he named the islands he landed on archipelago of St. Lazarus because it was the day of the Saints' Feast. An account of Francisco Albo. He did not mention about the first mass in the country.
On June 19, 1960, Republic Act No. 2733 was enacted without executive approval. an act to declare the site in Magallanes, Limasawa. This is where the first Mass in the Philippines was held as a national shrine. It was held to provide for the preservation of historical monuments and landmark threats.
Historical controversies. This belief was challenged by the proposal of Filipino historian Sunya Zaidi that the place of the first Mass in the Philippines happened not in Limasawa but in Butuan in Agusan del Norte, which is also based on the records of Pigafetta. They also went through long debates asserting their arguments using the notes of Pigafetta and others who recorded their journey. Francisco Albo, who gave more detailed description of the construction of the cross in Limasawa, according to Albo, that from the hill there is a view of the three islands in the west and southwest side that corresponds to the southern part of Limasawa, unlike the Butuan side where only one island can be seen. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines intervened, and a few years later, the NCH formally declared that the first Mass in the country happened in Limasawa. The historical accuracy regarding the country's first Catholic Mass celebration is not only to be settled based on location but also on when it exactly occurred. Previous masses that were conducted by the Spaniards on board their ships sailing through the sea surrounding Samar and earlier mass supposedly held in Bolinao, Pangasinan in 1324.
Bolinao is an island that located in Pangasinan around 1324. Ulrich of Ferdinand is believed to have celebrated the first Mass. This would have predated the Mass held in 1521 by Ferdinand Magellan. The National Historical Institute recognized Limasawa in southern Leyte as the venue of first Mass, held on March 13, 1521.
Humanan, a position paper submitted by the Council of Diocese of Borongan to the NHCP stated that the Magellan expedition reached the shores of Humanon on March 1651. The paper's assertion claimed that there were no less than four masses, including the Palm Sunday Mass on their last day on the island. Humanon is located in the province of Eastern Samar, Philippines on the east side of Leyte Gulf. Also, Antonio Pigafetta says, watering place of good signs because the place is abundant in gold.
Masao, the first ever Eastern Mass in the Philippines, a landmark in the history of Philippine Christianity, was held in 1521 on the island of Masawa, known today as Limasawa Island in Leyte. On March 31, 1521, at the village of Limasawa on the island of the Leyte southern tip, the first Christian Mass is said to have been held. Magellan's aide Antonio Pigafetta recorded the location as Mazawa.
On March 31, 1521, on this day, the first Christian worship in our country was done or performed, the first Holy Mass, and the first introduction of the religion of Christianity in the Philippines. Even before this, the two sides, the Spaniards and the natives, has a good relationship by virtue of the treaty between Ferdinand Magellan and Raja Colombo, having blood compact on March 29, 1521, along the coast of the island of Limasawa, which is the province of southern Leyte. Here, the ceremony of the first Mass in the history was held, which was attended by Ferdinand Magellan and approximately 50 of his men, including Antonio Pigafetta, Raja Colombo, and Raja Siago, and few other natives of the island of Limasawa.
Christianity religion which has become part of our national consciousness and culture in the coming generation.